Percy Pig on a mug. Color changing mug. Guys, my plant, look, she's doing so much better. She just needed like a teeny bit of water. That's literally it. Anyways, today we're talking about the Tongariro Crossing because I've been promising to talk about it for so long and I'm finally doing it. So here we are. Where do I even start? Where do I even start? From the beginning, probably. What is the Tongariro Crossing? Or in long form, the Tongariro Alpine Crossing. Is that right? Yes. Yes. Well, everyone, this is a really popular day hike in Tongariro National Park, which is on the North Island of New Zealand, and I got so lucky that I was able to do it and that the weather was perfect. I booked it 4 or 5 months ahead of time and somehow got an amazing day. I'm getting ahead of myself. I need to take you back. Ooh, guys, the amount of times I banged my microphone in the last videos, I'm so sorry. Right, to stay away from it. What is it? What is the crossing? Come on, Sally, get on with it. It is a 19.4 kilometer long hike. It takes about 7 hours, 6 or 7 hours. It's the best hike I've ever done, and I've done a lot of hiking in Switzerland and France, but this was just otherworldly completely, like just a completely different landscape to anything I've ever seen in my life. And I'm gonna take you through it and take you through all the different sections right now. You start off at 5:15 in the morning and you get a shuttle. In my case, I got a shuttle. I'll talk about the other things you can do later. Got a shuttle to the start of the crossing. Takes about an hour and a half to get there. You start just before 7 a.m. and you're on like alpine terrain for about an hour on a wooden boardwalk. Just walking. Pretty chill start. It's a little bit chilly, a little bit cold, but yeah, it's pretty nice. You kind of like, you start out with the bigger group, so you all kind of figure out your pacing and people go ahead, people stay behind. I was hiking with my friend Miriam, who I met on the Kiwi bus, and a girl we met called Carly, who we met on the trail, and she just said like, hey, can I walk with you guys? And we were like, yeah, of course. So it was the 3 of us and we were such a cute little trio. It was great. So after the first hour or so, hour and a half maybe, I'm not entirely sure on the timings, guys. I think it took us about an hour, that first bit. We then got to the Devil's Staircase, which is literally just stairs for about 45 minutes. Your thighs will be on fire, so take little stops now and then. We definitely did, and we were taking it pretty slow. There's also a sign right before the staircase which says, if you don't think you can do it, turn back now. So that's kind of scary, not gonna lie, because you're just thinking, what is to come? I'm only an hour into this hike. So you hike up Devil's Staircase, you get some gorgeous views of how far you've already come, of the mountains and everything in the shade, and you eventually peek over the edge and get some sunlight. We were breaking out the caps and sunglasses at this point, and you get to what is called the South Crater. I cannot explain how much like being on Mars this felt like. It felt like we were on a different planet. I was Matt Damon in The Martian. So you hike across this massive crater for about 20 minutes and it's insane, and Mount Doom is on your right and it's huge and it's just this massive volcano and you're in a crater and you can't stop saying, oh my gosh, I can't believe we're here. Once you've had your little Matt Damon moment in the crater, you have to hike up some more hilly bits, and this bit was pretty slippy and there's nothing to hold on to, and some people are coming down from it as well because they only hiked so far and want to go back. Yeah, so definitely hiking boots were useful at this point because it's literally just a pretty steep drop back into the crater. And this is the last main bit of upwards hiking you get, and it's pretty tough. But when you get to the top of that bit, you're at the highest point of elevation of the whole hike and you get a beautiful view of Mount Doom behind you. And as you can see from the pictures, it's kind of insane. At the end of the crater, it was like a bit that was in the shade. There was this really spiky ice. I'll insert the picture here. How cool. How cool is that? Just some of the things you see on this hike. So you can't stay at the top for long because you have to keep moving, because you have to get to the shuttle by 3 p.m. If not, they're gonna leave you behind. So we kept on hiking and we got to the red crater. It's more like a gorge, and in there is an old lava tube, which is just another crazy bit of the world that you get to see on this hike. And there's also a sign that tells you you're in an active volcanic landscape, you know, chill, nothing to worry about there. After this, you scramble down a hill, which is basically volcanic ash, and gravel, and that honestly took forever to get down because it's so slippy. I was using a skiing method, kind of going side to side and zigzagging down, which seemed to work pretty well and get me down pretty quick, although I'd got a lot of gravel in my shoes. So be careful even going downhill. And as you go downhill, you get to see the Emerald Lakes at this point, which are stunning little blue lakes. I don't know how else to describe them. And there's also massive plumes of smoke here, or steam, coming out of the ground, which is pretty scary and reminds you again that you're in an active volcanic landscape. But I just kept thinking, okay, at least the pressure is coming out and not building underneath us. I was really scared of like some fumes coming out and just choking us or something, but that didn't happen, and maybe that's just me being paranoid. After this, it's pretty straightforward. You keep walking until you reach Blue Lake, which is just a bigger lake. It's kind of not that much to see here. It is a pretty good spot to stop for lunch. We didn't though, but a lot of people did. We kept going because we needed to use the toilet around the corner, and then after that we just sat on the side of the trail and had our lunch there, and it started raining. And from there, after the Blue Lake, it's basically just back to Alpine Trail, and you're just going downhill pretty much the whole time. And then right at the end, you walk through a forest for about 45 minutes, also through a lahar zone. I think that's how it's pronounced. I'm not really sure. And it basically is an area that can get flooded really easily. So there's a warning sign that tells you to move through this area really quickly. Just another really fun thing to worry about. And then you're at the car park and you get picked up by the shuttle, and that's the end of a full day of hiking. So I think what a lot of people want to know, and definitely what I wanted to know, is how hard is it actually? So I'm someone who has like a pretty good base level of fitness, and by this time I'd spent a lot of my time traveling, hiking and walking and doing like activities. So my level of fitness wasn't amazing, but like it was there. I was feeling pretty good. Honestly, didn't find it as hard as everyone had described, because people give you so many warnings about how difficult it's going to be and how much water you need, and if you need to turn back, you should definitely turn back. All of that is pretty scary to hear about, but it was fine. It was tough, it was challenging, but it was fine and doable as someone with a pretty decent base level of fitness. We walked at a really steady, some would even say slow pace. We had about 45 minutes to spare at the end waiting for the shuttle, so we really took our time. We could have done it faster, but we just thought, wow, what is the point in doing it faster? The shuttle leaves at 3. We don't want to be sat in the car park for hours. We'd rather be enjoying the mountain, taking pictures. Saying that, we were on the move most of the time. We stopped. Our breaks were very short when we did take them. Make sure to do your own research, assess what you think your level of fitness is, talk to more people, watch more videos, and yeah, just do your own research and think about what you can do. How long does the hike take? As I said before, I think around 7 hours to do the hike. I've seen videos where people do it in 5.5, some people do it in 8, so we were definitely on the slower end, but we took our time. We made sure we were just kind of chilling and having a good time. Another question that comes up a lot is, what do you need to pack and take with you? So I took this 10-litre day pack with me, and in that I had 2 litres of water and a 750 milliliter bottle of Powerade. My friend took 2 bottles of Powerade, and honestly I was jealous of her, so just take some Powerade or like an energy drink. It's really useful for like topping up your electrolytes and not just sweating out a bunch of water, like actually retaining some of it. I took a bunch of snacks, so many snacks. I didn't eat them all. I took chocolate, fruit, crisps, trail mix. You can get a really good trail mix from Pack and Save, and it has chocolate chips in it. Food-wise, I also, for lunch, just took some pasta that I cooked the night before at the hostel. In terms of clothes, I had a cap, a woolly hat, gloves. I was wearing normal leggings, some cotton like trousers on top, which you shouldn't really take because if they get wet, they're really hard to dry. Hiking boots, hiking socks. And then I had loads of layers on the top, which I honestly wouldn't have taken if it was the same type of day that I went on. You would need those layers if it was cold, because I've heard stories of people having really cold days and being super cold with loads of layers. But I had a thermal, a t-shirt, 2 jumpers and a jacket, and basically ended up only wearing the thermal t-shirt and 1 jumper. Other things in my pack were just like sun cream, a first aid kit, extra socks just in case mine got wet. Going back on the hiking boots, I recommend taking hiking boots because I like nearly twisted my ankle a bunch of times and having that extra support around my ankle was super useful. A lot of people didn't have them and they were fine. Just for me, who's obviously was being a bit clumsy, they came in very handy and also provided a lot more grip for those bits that were slippy. It's also worth taking like a plastic bag to put all your rubbish in because you have to leave no trace. And lastly, some tissues for the toilets and hand sanitizer to wash your hands after the toilets as well. Speaking of toilets, what are the toilets like on the trail? They're basically these little huts with holes in the ground. I mean, they are like, there is a toilet seat, but they are just a hole into the ground and they're pretty stinky. And some of them did have toilet roll, really surprisingly. Some of them didn't though, so just bring your own tissue just in case. Where to stay before and after? I stayed in Topor, which is an hour and a half away. I stayed at Finley Jack's hostel, which was honestly one of the best hostels I've stayed in. The kitchen isn't massive, gets pretty busy, but it has everything you need. And it has a lot of storage, like cubby holes. The best thing about this hostel though is the bedroom areas. You have like your own little cabin almost with loads of space, which is ideal for like sorting your small bag with everything you want to pack for the hike, because that took me ages kind of sorting what I wanted to take, but I could do it all in my own little space and not worry about being in the way of anyone else. And also the beds have a little shutter so you can get a good night's sleep. Lastly, the hostel is really good because nearly everyone there is there to do the hike, so you can meet people who are going to do it on the same day as you or who have done it. You can ask them advice. And also the shuttle that I took picked us up from the hostel, so we didn't have to walk anywhere for pickup. Just one final thing on the shuttle is obviously you have to pay extra for that. It's because the hike isn't a loop hike. It starts in one place, ends in a different place. So getting a shuttle is one of the main ways people do it. Another way people do it is if you have two cars, you can drive to the end of the trail with both cars, leave a car there, and then drive back in one car to the beginning of the trail. So then you can hike the trail, pick up your car, go back to the beginning of the trail, pick up your other car and drive home. So people do that, which is probably a bit cheaper, but depends if you have a car. Okay everyone, I think I've covered everything to do with the Tongariro crossing. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments or on Instagram or on TikTok, and I'd be happy to answer them. Thanks for watching and see you soon.